Are you curious to know how I'm going to take that and turn it into that? So watch and see if I either follow Kennet's instructions to the letter or I completely and utterly destroy this promising young Scots pine. Hi, it's Xavier. I'm back in the patio, and
hey, hello Xavier.
Today I'm going to take up Kennet's great advice from KDB Bonsai, and I'm actually going to see if what he thinks can happen. And I think the biggest limitation on that is me. Kennet has gone to a lot of effort to get his bestest colouring pencils out, and we all like colouring in, and try and show me how I'm going to turn that actually into a bonsai.
Yeah, today's the day.
Come on, Kennet. People know I don't actually do bonsai. I talk it, but I don't think I actually do it.
I'm sure you will do great. Yeah, it's going to be okay.
So, I've seen the colours you've picked, and I've got to say, your colour shading and definition, top notch. One itsy bitsy problem. I'm colourblind, so I suppose I'll just have to play it by ear. I suppose I'm going to have to take the wire off first. I really like this design. I thought it was promising. So the first thing I really need to ask you is, could you fly over and do it for me? Honestly, no one needs to know. I think your hands, they've got the same amount of wrinkles and stuff. I mean, you're a teacher. You must have stress lines, so you will look like me. Could you do that for me, Kennet?
No.
No pressure there then. It's not like I can say no, your video's already gone out. But where do I start? Please, tell me.
Okay, time to relax now, Xavier. Have a nice cup of English tea.
I don't normally do any work here at this time. This is normally my rest period, but also I recognise that a lot of the trees are in dormancy. And if I do any damage, they're not actually going to be equipped necessarily to repair or respond effectively to that damage. That's not to say that you can't, and I know there's lots of you out there who have a lot of success doing that, but I'm a little bit more conservative, as you can tell from my rather nice fetching outfit. The biggest concern I have with your design is you can't see the thickness of this, and I know it's January, and it's quite flexible, but how on earth am I going to stop that from splitting? I mean, look, assuming I'm going to do all this, let's get rid of the wire there. I've got to do a split there. So if we look at the colours, this branch is down here. Is that part? That's actually not part. That's still sacrificed. We'll get that out of the way. With that movement, also committed to this. Following this up here, green. Okay, so that's the green. So that bit there is that bit. So that bit has got to be bent right down. I mean, that is a lot of stress on that. I mean, the key things is I've got to sort out that joint, which is there. That will bend down to down here by the look of it. So that's got to be protected. I don't need to worry about the rest of that by the look of it. So that's going to come over. So this bit there is that little short bit there, which means that branch there, all this, is going to be the bit that's coming down. So I imagine that junction there might also be an issue. And then I think the black bit's here, where there's that little bit there, I think that's that little bit here, goes on to this. This is going to be the apex, I think. So that's that apex there, which means I think that's either that's going to be bent right down, which that shouldn't be an issue at all. So I'm not happy, I'm not too worried there, unless it's this one. I'll have to look. I will do it at each bend at each place. Okay. I've got my bag of raffia. I've only ever used it for root on rock, for tying it a bit like string. I've actually had it for 2 years now and not used it for what it's supposed to be. I think it's made out of palm leaves, dried and stripped, and there's also synthetic stuff as well. That's now sitting in a bucket of water, so we've got to wait half an hour or so for that to get nice and damp, and I'm going to have to remove all the wire that's currently on there because I'm going to wrap that in raffia. We'll come back when I'm about to do the raffia wrapping, and I've never ever done it before, so this is a first for me as well. What is good to see is here, got lots of growth there. Looking at the top there, lots of growth from there. So there's actually been, when I did all the cutting and pruning, it's actually produced the back buds that I hoped it would. And I think that's one of the questions I posed in my video. If that's going to come down, I'm going to be rotating. Which way am I going to apply the raffia?
So you use raffia to protect the bark, but you also use it to prevent something from tearing. This is a string of different pieces of raffia that I put together with a little knot here. Now you want to do a clean job, so you don't want this knot at the end. So you can always put it somewhere where you can cut it off, like here, and then you come back. And you tie the raffia, which is wet, very important, around your trunk, like so. And now you see this piece already can be cut off and you won't see the horrible knot.
1, 2, I think you got to tie it up. He had 3 pieces. So I'm sure you could probably do more than 3 pieces, but I must be honest, when I saw Ryan Neal, he's done the same. Ryan Neal does an absolutely masterclass in raffia, how you join raffia together, different lengths. And I did watch it, but I think deep down I thought I'm never going to do that. Anyway, I'll find another way. And I think Tony's experimenting with vet tape and stuff like that. And that's interesting to see how the results go on that, to be honest. So that's the junction. I'll probably be rotating it down and around, bringing it that way. Okay. And obviously the reasons we're using raffia, to get another video out probably, that's why I'm using raffia. No, I was determined I was going to start using the stuff that were recommended, and I hate making it sound like I'm not trying to say other people are doing it right. There's lots of different ways of doing stuff, but it's biodegradable, it's good for the environment. And the main reason for the raffia, obviously the first one is protect the bark. Oh, I'll probably get rid of that rat hen now, can't I? Okay. And I think the reason why it's damp is for a start, it's much more flexible and easier to use. I think it shrinks a bit actually once it's wet. I don't know whether it works that well the other way, but whatever the dynamics are, obviously it's been used over the ages.
Yeah, wet raffia, it's better.
I'm quite excited about this, to be honest. You wouldn't have thought so, but I think deep down I never thought I was going to use raffia. Okay, so I've got some more strips, and to join, I think I saw this from Ryan Neal, before you get to the end of that one, I think you place it along with it and then wind it with it. I think that's how you get it to, so you actually do winds that put it in place, I think. And that will then keep the ends done. Yeah, so you've actually wrapped. Okay, now I'm going to be bending this one first.
In order to make the bend, because you don't want these 2 branches to tear apart, you're going to do this. So at the junction, you just cross the wire.
So this is the key bit. The key is to keep those turns on tight as well, and also you don't want it getting bunched up into knots, because it still needs to be a wide enough band. There we go. How am I doing, Kenneth? It feels really awkward.
Well, I can't help you now, you know. It's you're on your own.
Okay, well, that took half an hour. And that's all raffiaed up to the top. Don't worry about the knots at the top. Once the wire goes on, actually, I've got to do something about this, but I'll wait until I'm going to wire this whole one up first before I go any further. But we need to do something about that. So first of all, what do you reckon of my raffia?
Yes. Well done. Well done.
Okay, so the idea here is that as well as giving protection to the bark, it's like an extra layer of skin. So when I'm bending, I'm hoping what's going to happen is it's going to restrict and make it even more difficult for tears to occur and destroy the tree. So I've got the raffia on, Kenneth, but I'm not going to pretend I'm not still a little bit worried that isn't going to be enough to stop it tearing. I'm going to be rotating and bending that a long way. Is there anything else I can do?
You can always add a piece of wire. You put the wire in a V shape, like so. You put it here, and you include this piece of wire in the raffia wrapping. So that when you do the bend, this will support the branch.
A bridge sounds a bit of a bridge too far to me. Yeah, another hint. Bit of wire. I presume that's what I'll use. And it's going to sit in there. I'll put raffia in to hold that in place. Well, that's another half hour later. And let's have a look and see what we've done then, shall we? Hopefully you'll see in there little wire ends, and I've used the raffia to wire that in place. So, is that what I was supposed to do, Kenneth?
I knew you could do it.
It looks nice. I dread to think what's going to happen when I start wiring. Right. So I've got my first length of wire, and this is the thickest that I can buy. I don't know, I think it's 6 millimeter. Ideally, I know exactly what wire I should be using now. I should be using copper wire. Do I have to, when I put the wire on, which direction do I go? Do I go in the same or the opposite direction of the raffia?
Now, the winds are this way, around the trunk and the branches, so that's how you want to wire your tree too. I'm going to use a piece of electrical wire here, because it is very visible on this video. I'm going to wind it around the thick branch. And because I want this to be a very strong part here, because that's where the bending will be, I'm not going to come with my wire here under, I'm going to come over it. Like so. So when I bend this branch, I can put some tension like so, because my wire from the bottom is coming here, which means that if I do a twist and bring it forward, it's going to work.
Mind, that would make sense, because as the raffia gets bent, if I'm going to do the bending as you suggest and rotating, the raffia will tighten also. So I must do it the same way as wire then. Okay, so I put the wire in right down the base, and then which way?
Yeah, always wire in the same direction as the raffia.
Oh, got it.
So to the left, the other left.
Huh? Oh, it's the other left. Oh, okay. Okay, so we've got the original bend that's already here. I really don't think this will be enough wire, you know.
Always make sure that your bend is that you have a wire outside of your bend. So.
And you're saying I need to make sure the bends will be on the outside of where I'm going to bend, okay? Is that right? Is that right? It's got a support. I suppose, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that will do very nicely. Yeah.
Tony's going to like this. I'm going to put more wire on. So, what's the bet? What's the rule? I mean, this is the common argument. I'm always saying about you run it parallel, but I've heard Tony talk about, and you know there's others who just say you do in between, so you maximise the coverage area. What's your views on that, Kenneth?
And here, well, there are different ideas. You can wire exactly next to the existing wire, or in between. And I'm not sure what is the best thing to do here. If it's in between, you will have more support on every level of the branch. If it is right next to it, well, that's a clean wiring.
Okay. I don't think you need to see me wangling with wire. What's wangling? Got to be careful with that word. So I'm going to come back to you when I've done it. I think we've reached that point. Now I know I still have to put wire up that side, but I think the moment of truth has come. Am I going to do this bend or not then, Keith? What do you think?
Yeah, don't worry. It's going to be okay. You can do that. Yeah.
Does that look good? Could I leave it like that? So I've already got the bend there. So I've got to make sure that when I'm bending, I've got the wire to the outside. Are you still there, Kenneth? I'm a little bit anxious about this. I have some horrible feelings.
The first most important bend is going to be in your trunk, because if you can bend the trunk this way, automatically this branch will go down. So let's do that.
The best way of bringing that down, as Kenneth said, was to... Okay. Woohoo!
Okay. Twist and bend, twist. Look at the wire. Yeah, in that direction. Yeah. Did I hear a crack here?
No, that was my knees, Kenneth. You know how old we get. The knees go first. Cracking branch, like I'd tell you anyway. So. This is going further than I thought. So that's going to be coming down. Actually, that next bit may be easier than I thought. So we probably need to come down further. If anyone doesn't think I'm really nervous, I am. I cannot believe. I mean, Tony, you love this. You do this easily. For me, I've always struggled with the bends. The wire's going to bring that round.
That was a crack, eh? Wasn't it?
That wasn't a crack either.
Small one, but was it? No? Okay.
So we're going to have branches off here. This one's almost coming straight down. That's not good. So if I want these pads, I've got a pad here. Looking down, there's a pad here, two here, here. That could be the future of this, actually. What do we think? Can we see? Can we see the bend on it? I've gone quite a way. Let me just tidy a few things up and we'll come back closer. I thought I'd do a bit of wrestling on my own. we've got there at the moment, which I mean, all the bending's worked. I don't think I've quite got the shape yet, this top bit. So I've just applied a wire here. I'm presuming this chute's going to be the new leader. I've got extra bits here which I'm not sure about. But let's get this bend first. So it goes up and then down.
No, 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 no. Not that way, not that way.
And it parallels that. Does that look much like that? What do you think? I'm not sure. Obviously there's nothing up here and that's got to build, and there's too much here. I'm not actually going to remove any growth off this, so there's some branches that are wrong, but I think the aim was to show that you can bend with raffia, you can put bridges in and actually completely redesign it with those principles. So it's raffia and wire. Well, I'm finished. And what do you think, Kenneth? What do you think? Did I come anywhere near what you were trying to envisage with the plan?
This is one of the best performances ever in bonsai history.
I'll ask one question now. I've done a little bit of wiring out here just loosely, if you just give it a spin. I mean, it's very hard to... It's totally opposite what I've ever thought about doing before, and yet it seems so simple once you've done it the first time. So, no, thanks for that. But chances are I'm going to remove this. There's little buds up here growing. I've got stuff here, so the chances are this will go as well. But I'm leaving it for now because I don't want to stress the tree. I don't actually want to take anything off. And this is going to go into cold frame if it gets anywhere below 0. So I think I've achieved the shape. That was what you intended. That's what we've got. So I'll throw it to you, everyone out there. You tell me how close I came to Kenneth's suggestion. But got a bit of a mess here, but there's lots of buds up here. So the chance I'm going to remove this, but I'll let those grow out and see what happens. Key area on his diagram is here. That shows branches going down, I think here, which is, I think it's representing actually what's underneath is here, this lot here. So my question is, I think I might do stuff with this one and remove this branch entirely. But Kenneth and anyone else, what would you do with this branch here? Would you remove it? Try and get a nice taper there and concentrate on this, or would you, I mean, you could actually do quite a bit with that, but that is an ugly junction there. There's no way around it. So, and it could be that I'll bring this lower branch and I'll bring it further round. But the main bend's happened. There was no cracking. So there it is. That's my restyled Scots pine after Kenneth kindly came to the rescue. And I'll say to you now, he's one of my favourites, one of my first ever YouTube channel creators I watched. But if you want Kenneth to redesign your tree, perhaps you need to pop over to his channel, subscribe first, he's got quite a few subscribers, and watch. And who knows, he may see your tree, and we all know Kenneth knows. So yeah, so let me know on that one. So from Xavier, I have one more thing. Kenneth, thanks so much for getting me to do all that, but I've now got a request of you, and it's straightforward, okay? My bonsai, top 7, in under 7, over 7, doesn't matter. I want to hear about you because you were one of my first inspirations, and I'm sure a lot of other people would like to be reminded about you. So please take the top 7 challenges. So this is my little 5 cents about wiring and bending and using raffia. I hope it helps. So good luck and enjoy your little tree because it has quite some potential. Now, from Xavier at the patio, having spent 3 hours out here in quite nice weather, I'm going to say thanks ever so much for watching. I hope this isn't too long. I hope you enjoy the restyle, and remember, if you need more, Kenneth knows. So from Xavier, happy bonsaiing, all the best for the rest of January, and stay safe. Cheers.